white, black and red. Tell them shred. Until we get real serious, remove the drugs and all them cokeheads. You see me? I want to see Trinbago moving ahead. I agree, we are still a paradise. Built byways to highways, but progress came with a price. Although we excel in culture and sports, along the east-west corridor, our youths they pack up courts. Tell me, what is this great fatal attraction? This love affair that they have with crime. Now one by one they fall a daily extraction. We've got to save our youths while they're in their prime. Teach them to sing.
This is
Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for your continued grace and blessings. Lord, today I ask for clarity that only you can bring. When everything feels noisy, confusing, and overwhelming, your peace is what I seek. Lord, be my center in the midst of the storm. When my mind is consumed with worry and doubt, lead me to your still waters. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
We, the people want hope, opportunities, security, and respect. The people want justice. The people want the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hear the truth with Ombudsman Harvey R. Boris, the voice of truth. Can you handle the truth?
I love my country.
Looking for that perfect accommodation? Well, come to Caribbean Tourist Villa, located at number 7 Methuen Street, Port of Spain. All our rooms are equipped with AC, internet, and access to our lovely pool. Whether you're looking for a personal getaway or family accommodations, Caribbean Tourist Villa is exactly the place to be. Enjoy the ambience of staycation, luxurious rooms, and a well-trained staff. Call us now at 623-9164, 797-2858, or contact us at caribbeantourist.villa@gmail.com. Caribbean Tourist Villa, where your magical moments begin.
Welcome to Alicia's Palace, your gateway to relaxation, adventure, and excitement. Nestled in the picturesque Lady Chancellor Hills overlooking Port of Spain, we cater to both tourists and locals seeking an unforgettable staycation experience. Our rooms are designed to provide the utmost comfort, ensuring you have a restful and rejuvenating stay. Pamper yourself in our jacuzzi room or enjoy fun-filled moments in our 2 outdoor pools. You can unwind in our bar and lounge or embark on thrilling island tours and experiences. Planning a wedding or special function, our 300-capacity event facility is the ideal choice to create lasting memories with your loved ones. You can also choose from exciting packages like single-day and overnight packages with your special someone. To book your tropical escape, call us at 624-8553 or WhatsApp 3173843. You can also email us at info@aliciaspalas.com or visit our website at aliciaspalas.com for more details.
Do you suffer from diabetes or high blood pressure or just in need of a general checkup? Look no further. Visit Batson & Associates Limited, your holistic health experts, for your personalized program of solutions with a range of premium products and services tailored to suit your needs. Come and experience transformative healing with our team of specialists in natural and integrative medicine. Visit us or give us a call today at 222-8261 or 314-9975 and begin your journey to optimal health. And remember, if you think health is expensive, try sickness.
New Day Alert, the voice of the people with Harvey R. Barris, is now on every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. on I-95.5 FM. Tune in as he discusses current affairs and more. Do you want the truth? Can you handle the truth? I love my country, the voice of the people. Now, every Wednesday with Harvey R. Barris, only on I-95.5 FM.
Welcome to Caribbean Tourist Villa, your home away from home in the heart of Port of Spain. With over 25 years of trusted hospitality, Caribbean Tourist Villa has been a reliable choice for both business professionals and vacationers. Our guest rooms are thoughtfully equipped with all the essentials for a relaxing and productive stay, and our tranquil pool area is perfect for relaxation after a busy day. We've created the ideal space for you to relax, recharge, and enjoy. Give us a call to book your stay today.
Every great business deserves to be noticed. But being great isn't enough if no one knows you exist. Imagine your brand reaching thousands of listeners and viewers across Trinidad and Tobago. That's exactly what the Hot Seat 868 with Harvey Boris delivers. Promote your products, showcase your services, build trust, increase your visibility. Your message reaches the people who matter most. Don't let your competitors steal the spotlight. Get your business in the Hot Seat 868 today. Call or WhatsApp us at 271-8435. Your business, your brand, your moment to shine.
We, the people want hope, opportunities, security, and respect. The people want justice. The people want the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hear the truth with Ombudsman Harvey R. Boris, the voice of truth. Can you handle the truth?
I love my country.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of this new day. Thank you for waking me up this morning and giving me another opportunity to experience your goodness. Lord, as I begin this Thursday, I declare that this is the day you have made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Whatever happened yesterday will not steal the joy, peace, and opportunities you have prepared for me today. Your word says in Psalm 59 verse 1, "Deliver me from mine enemies. O my God, defend me from them that rise up against me." Father, go before me today. Deliver me from every evil plan. Protect me, my family, and everyone connected to me wherever we go. Let every plan of the enemy concerning this day come to nothing. Lord, order my steps. Lead me to the right places and connect me with the right people. Let your favor speak for me where my strength cannot. Bless the work of my hands. Open doors of opportunity. Give me wisdom in every decision and strength for every challenge. I declare that today will not end in sorrow. I will receive good news. I will experience divine help. I will walk in favor, peace, protection, and victory. Father, according to Psalm 59, be my defense and my refuge throughout this day. I place this Thursday into your hands. Go before me, walk beside me, and let your presence remain with me. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. In Jesus' mighty name I pray, amen.
We, the people want hope, opportunities, security, and respect. The people want justice. The people want the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hear the truth with Ombudsman Harvey R. Boris, the voice of truth. Can you handle the truth?
I love my country.
Oh, Father, the God of all light and glory, I come before you today with confidence, because your word says in Psalm 27 that you are my light and my salvation. Therefore, I declare that fear has no place in my life. Anxiety has no authority over my destiny. Confusion will not control my mind, because the light of God is shining upon my path. Lord, let every dark season around my life come to an end today. Every invisible battle fighting my peace, my health, my family, my purpose, and my future be consumed by the fire of the Holy Ghost in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, arise and scatter every power assigned to intimidate me. Let every voice of discouragement be silenced. When enemies rise against me, when challenges surround me, when life becomes uncertain, remind my spirit that you remain my salvation and my defense. I declare that I will not be moved. I will not collapse under pressure. I will not surrender to fear.
From diabetes or high blood pressure, or just in need of a general checkup, look no further. Visit Batson & Associates Limited, your holistic health experts, for your personalized program of solutions with a range of premium products and services tailored to suit your needs. Come and experience transformative healing with our team of specialists in natural and integrative medicine. Visit us or give us a call today at 222-8261 or 314-9975 and begin your journey to optimal health. And remember, if you think health is expensive, try sickness.
Good afternoon, Synergy family. Always a pleasure to be in your company, discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. As that little caption there mentioned, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. A lot of persons, I think, don't really understand, what that means. Our grandparents, great-grandparents used to tell us that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Right, and of course, an ounce in comparison to a pound is significantly less. So that's one of the things that we try to help persons to understand. At Batson & Associates, integrative consultants. Interestingly, I had a client who came for a review this weekend. That was what today is. Today's Thursday. That would have been Monday, and the client came as a result of a thyroid problem. So what they had is an issue with thyroid health, or what they had is something known as hyperthyroidism or height. So the thyroid was functioning in excess. It was hyper in nature. Now, people who suffer from hyperthyroidism would usually experience certain types of symptomology. So they would experience, for example, issues associated with energy. So they find they're always tired, they can't sleep properly. They may have a problem as it relates to putting on weight. So you find you would eat, you exercise, you might be doing weights, whatever the case may be, but for some reason, you're not putting on weight. That, in this particular case, that individual had a problem with hyperthyroidism. So that was the instance, and the TSH was high. It was like about 10 on the scale. And the scale of measurement that is normally used, I believe, is anywhere in the vicinity of 4 for the maximum. So this person was over by 6. So we did some work with them for a 3-month period and sent them to have the test redone. And that is what they came for the review. So that was the review that I did earlier this week. And interestingly now, the TSH is within range. So it is now actually 4. So that was a significant improvement. Now, apart from that, they also had a problem with an elevated HbA1c. So HbA1c is diabetes. So if you have elevated HbA1c, which is a test that they do, what they actually do, they actually look at the hemoglobin, hence the reason the H. And what that actually does is that they're able to tell you how much glucose is actually in your blood on an average of 3 months, which is 90 days, right? And that particular individual, their A1C was not a good number. You're supposed to be on the scale of measurement. I mean, the Europeans, the Americans and the Canadians, they kind of around the same, they differ by maybe 0.2. So some schools say anything between 5 to 5.5 is satisfactory. That's the A1C. Some people find anything between 5.4 to 6 is satisfactory. And then some schools of thought believe that if it is over 5.8, you're already pre-diabetic. So pre-diabetic would usually be 5.8, 6.2. Right? But as I said, they are different. In my opinion, my professional opinion, based on experience, I find if you function in the vicinity of a 5.4 to a 5.8, you're usually good in those averages. Men are slightly higher, I believe, because, in terms of hormones and that type of thing, you would have certain requirements for glucose and that type of thing. So men could be anywhere between about a 5.8. Good. This particular individual was 13. So that's really bad. On 13, if you have A1C of 13, you'll usually be recommended insulin. Now, so this particular individual was using insulin. Now, the thing is, after the A1C went down to 11.5, that's 3 months, 3 months. So it moved from 13 to 11.5. Now, 11.5 is still high. That's ridiculously high. But the point is that is an improvement from 13, obviously. So in a case like that, they experienced better eyesight, so they weren't getting as much blurred vision as they was getting before. The thing with persons who are diabetics, and I always explain this, having been a diabetic consultant for the time that I've been, which is in excess of 14 years now. And we have dealt significantly with a lot of persons with diabetes. And I say this over and over and over to anyone who has diabetes. You have to ensure that you protect your body. You have to do things to reduce your inflammatory response. You have to do things to reduce your oxidative stress. One of the questions that was asked, and I'll answer in this session that we're doing here, is why is it that persons who are diabetic tend to end up amputees? And that's something that confuses a lot of persons. But we have to remember that diabetes is a highly oxidative process. What does that mean? It means that when you are diabetic, when you have excessively elevated blood glucose, you are in a situation where the body is consistently in a state almost of panic. The body is always in a state of elevated inflammatory response. Because remember what inflammation does to the body, and a lot of people don't understand this. Having treated individuals with issues associated with elevated HbA1cs, elevated ESRs, erythrocyte sedimentation ratio. That is what they normally use. The rheumatologists use that if you're going to, so if you have some sort of autoimmune condition, and diabetes is considered an autoimmune condition. A lot of research shows significantly, and that's what I'm saying here, that diabetes, that's the reason why it is so destructive, because of the elevation of inflammatory response. Now, you have inflammation, which is normal in the body, but when you have excessive inflammatory response, so you have an elevated ESR, the standard measurement for ESR is 0 to 20. We have dealt with persons with 120. Keep in mind, in oncology, one of the things that oncologists should know, or they usually tell persons, is that if you have an elevated ESR, erythrocyte sedimentation ratio, in excess, for example, of 100, you're a perfect candidate for cancer. And the reason for that is because of an elevated ESR is telling your body, or constantly has your body in crisis. That's why people with rheumatoid arthritis have so much of pain. That's why people with diabetes have serious issues as regard to healing. Remember, that's how you can end up an amputee, because the body is not healing. It is consistently in a state of crisis. So if you constantly in a state of panic, or you're constantly in a state of fear, you as an individual, in terms of experiencing a feeling, would you eventually not get sick? Yeah, that will kill you, you will die. And that's an emotional state. So imagine if consistently, from a biological perspective, from a physiological perspective, from a perspective anatomically, biochemistry, your body is consistently in crisis. You can't get better. You'll always have pain. One of the things we do at Batson Associates is something known as live nutritional blood cell analysis. Now, you notice I was quoting other laboratory tests. So there are a number of things that we would use depending on what the situation is. So if you're having a problem and you're serious, because that's important, there are people who want to get better and there are people who just play. So once you're not playing and you're serious about getting better, then the numbers below there, you could give us a message. You could check us out at number 98 Main Road, Londonville, Shogunas. That is 98 Main Road, Londonville, Shogunas. That telephone number, you can actually WhatsApp us. That is 314-314-9975. That's the WhatsApp number. And you could check out that Integrative Diabetic Clinic. You could check out our Integrative Rheumatoid Arthritis Clinic. And, it's basically integrative medicine. And integrative medicine is medicine where you look at Western diagnostics. So you could read a CT scan, you could understand an MRI, you could understand an X-ray, so on and so forth, blood test, that type of thing, right? Simple. What it involves is treating the body not from a symptomology perspective, because you'll always have numerous symptomologies, A symptomology is diabetes is a symptomology. Hypertension is a symptomology. Because you could have 10 persons with high blood pressure, but you have 10 different reasons why they're hypertensive, right? If you're constipated, so if you do not evacuate waste properly, you might take 3 days, 4 days, 5 days to go to the washroom. There are people who go to the washroom once a week, yeah? You wouldn't believe that. There are people consistently who go to the washroom once or twice for the week. If you skip in a day, something is definitely wrong with you. You need to check that. Now, you might have to factor in things. Hydration is important, but there are a lot of people who drink water, and they drink a lot of water, but they're still constipated. So then it's maybe not necessarily be a water problem, but it might be a hydration problem, because a lot of people drink water, but a lot of people are not hydrated. Just like a lot of persons eat, but a lot of persons do not assimilate or digest or break down their food properly, so that the body could now derive maximum benefits from what you have eaten. So there are some persons who take vitamins. In the case of diabetics, we do specific diabetic protocols, because that particular individual, the A1C went down from 13 to 11.5. The TSH went down from 10 to 4. And this is no medication. That was a natural protocol that was done. There are some instances where your medication, depending on what you're on, because the doctor took them off of the medication. Because when they saw the results, they was, okay, this, obviously whatever you're doing is working. We're not going to take you off of the medication, because it didn't make any sense. And that was my opinion as well. And the medical doctor agreed that they would stop I think it was L-troxin or thyroxine they were taking, some one of those. It wasn't carbimazole, but it was one of those thyroid medications. But in any case, the TSH is significantly lower. It is within range, which is very important, so that individuals, because one of the problems they had was pins and needles, cramping in the calves, burning under the feet, which usually wouldn't be described as diabetic neuropathy. The thing is, and I have explained this on numerous occasions, a lot of the times you may have neuropathy, but it is not diabetic neuropathy. What is neuropathy? Neuropathy is the nerve damage, and at the Integrative Diabetic Clinic, we do deal with neuropathy. If you have problems with pins and needles, cramping in your calves, burning under your feet, you always feel as if it is you're walking. Different people would describe it differently, obviously, right? But that neuropathy issue, if that is your diagnosis and you want some assistance from a dietary perspective, clinical nutrition perspective, then Batson Associates is the place for you. You can make that appointment with that holistic consultation, which is very important because you grasp, a number of things. I mean, I could sit down and talk about testimonies whole day. But the point is you will get results once you follow what is given to you. As regards to medical validity, as regards to integrative medicine, there's a lot of validity. I consistently say this, if you're sick, it is expected to be sick for a reasonable period of time. So if you have the cold, which we often get or we may get, you might get the cold once a year, twice a year. If you get the cold more than 3 times, then you have to watch yourself, something wrong. Compromise the immune system. There are some persons, everything past they get, that's something you need to look at. The point I'm making is that once you see those particular warning signs or you're not sure, you're not supposed to be sick for an extended period of time. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And from a clinical nutritional perspective, which is nutrition for sickness, because people automatically assume that everything that is termed natural, people believe is a herb. So people will speak, for example, of garlic. Let's use garlic as an example. Garlic has specific properties that gives it the ability to do a number of things in the body as it relates to the immune system and all aspects of the immune system. You find, but as garlic is not classified as a herb, but it is food, depending on what your issue is. Right? That alanine, and those particular there are a number of other chemicals that garlic releases that does certain things to the body or can accomplish certain things from a phytochemistry perspective, right? So that's that. But the point I'm making, that is nutrition, but it is not a herb, but it is natural, right? And you realize now, even with vitamin C is a vitamin. However, it is medication or it is supplementation depending on what the body may require or what the specific issue the individual have and they may need. Good. So I'm saying all of that to help you to understand that the protocol that is used, because the same client who went to the doctor that they went to, the doctor said they didn't understand how that TSH went down so fast, because this is something that they were dealing with for years. This is not a recent thing. This has been going on for more than about 7 or 8 years, which I find is ridiculously long, but at the same time, there were different parameters and different things, because I actually got a look at the extensive medical history, and there are things that you could have picked up that indicated that this person had serious problems. One of the things they had was a serious problems with the digestive system, but they weren't aware of that, and the medical reports show that. But they were recommended standard things, the proton pump inhibitors, that type of thing. So, the digestive problem was never fixed from the foundation. People who have things like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, those are all inflammatory bowel conditions. So if you have constipation consistently, if you have GERD, if you ever got H. pylori, well, that's our next whole mass band there. You have serious problems, because those things don't go well. And the medical fraternity now, well, a lot of people in Western medical fraternity now understanding that even Candida, Some people look at Candida as simple. Candida is not a joke. Candida will do serious. Candida wreaks serious havoc on the body. And if you have chronic candiditis, which is going to cause elevated inflammatory response in the body. So if they do a C-reactive protein, or as I said before, ESR, or erythrocyte sedimentation ratio, that's going to be elevated. You can imagine you have an ESR of over 100. No. You don't have problems. That is a marker for cancer. That is a cancer marker. Some oncologists don't use it, but in certain schools of medicine, it is used as a marker for cancer. They don't only use CA125 because there are different cancer, there's different tests that you can do to determine early signs of cancer, even from an integrated perspective. Because in blood analysis, I mean, based on the law, there are certain claims you can't make and that type of thing. But it's not a claim, but it is a intelligent summary of what can happen if you do not take corrective measures. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the times you will see, I remember dealing with a client and they had problems with poor circulation. People who have headaches. If you consistently have headaches, you always have a headache. Monday your head hurt you, Tuesday your head hurt you, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every day. You can mark the calendar, the next day you're going to get a headache. That's a serious issue. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong. And I've always said this before because that was one of the questions. Keep in mind those telephone numbers. Keep in mind those locations. Are we actually having our community health fair? So that's something to look forward to. We're going to have more information for you with that. And that's at Debe, which is going to be corner of Ramsey Moose Trace and the SS Erin Main Road. In Debe, that's free to the public, as well as Londonville will also be having theirs as well. I believe those are on the same days. So that's number 98 Main Road, Londonville, Chabonas. And that's going to have a lot of introductory as regards to, you'd actually get examples of what a blood analysis looks like and that kind of thing. Because a lot of people don't understand. And not because you don't understand something or you don't know about it doesn't mean that there is any validity or any lack of scientific evidence as regards to what is being said. And I tell persons with integrative, I have seen nutrition fix insanity. I'll say that again. I have seen nutrition fix insanity. So I've seen mad people get better just with nutrition alone. And as I said, nutrition is broad in its spectrum and what it represents and what nutrition is. Nutrition is not herbs alone, it's not vitamins alone, it's not minerals alone, it's not anthocyanins alone, it's not enzymes alone. There are a number of different, and they're still finding more things, When you look at things like saponins, you look at them. So there are different things that help the body from a biochemical perspective, from a physiological perspective, from an anatomical perspective in terms of removing things like stones and cysts. Had a client too recently who had some serious problems with fibroids. Now, what women with fibroids do not understand is that fibroids do not come into a body or remain into a body that is balanced. You have to have significant hormonal imbalance to have fibroids. There are different types of fibroids. They are given their names based on location, and that you have intramural, you have submucosal, pondulating, and I think you have two others. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But the thing is, the point is, if you have fibroids, and we do treat fibroids, but this particular individual, the fibroids significantly went down. They shrunk significantly, which is always a good thing because you try not to have to do a hysterectomy, which is the surgical removal of your ovary, well, if it's a total hysterectomy, it's surgical removal of the uterus as well as the two ovaries. A lot of doctors try to save the ovaries because that will keep you mentally sane for a longer period of time. Women who do total hysterectomies usually tend to end up with serious central nervous system dysfunction, and that's something that we have treated quite successfully in the past and still do treat. I remember I was one of those persons who talking about menopause years ago, because I've treated a number of women with menopause successfully, and a lot of persons, and I always said this years ago, that when women believe that when they go through menopause, it is just one period or one duration of time, and then they are good after that. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. So that's something you need to pay attention to. Again, if you need help in that regard, you may be perimenopause. Ladies, if you don't take care of yourself with this thing, you'll go mad. Believe me. I have helped persons move from madness after dealing with the hormonal imbalance. Because when you have severe menopausal problems, postmenopause, perimenopause, and any of those issues, you have to understand that even though you have changed as regards to not having a menstrual cycle again, you now have certain hormones that are not in the amounts that they used to be before. That's basically what it is. And as a result of that, now you are not. So a number of things are going to be affected. Your sleep going to be affected. You can end up with anxiety. You can end up with depression. You can end up with insomnia, as I said, serious, because if you do not sleep properly, you have some serious problems. Yeah, you have some serious problems. And if you do not sleep properly for an extended period of time, well, God help you, you have even more serious problems, because they're going to recommend sleeping tablets for you. And sleep medication, even though it may be helpful, depending on what you're dealing with and the extent of the period of time that you use it, and the root cause of the problem that caused your insomnia in the first place. So there are a number of factors that you have to take into consideration. Then you're going to be in some issues there. Because if you're dependent on sleep medication, that's worrying. That's going to cost you in the long run. Take it from my experience. It is going to cost you in the long run. So if you have a sleeping problem, you're not sleeping properly, you may have issues with diabetes, whatever your issue is, feel free to give us a visit at Batson & Associates. Those telephone numbers are below there. Integrative Medical Clinic, Debe, which is the corner of Ramsamooch Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. We also have Tobago. Tobago, you have your open clinic there next week. Tobago is actually the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. You can get any of those numbers there. WhatsApp as well, 314, that is 314-9975. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. So we're discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson & Associates, your integrative health consultants. All right, so we touched on diabetes, we touched a bit on neuropathy, we touched on menopause. I try to cover, because I know a lot of persons, sometimes if they don't hear you speak about something, they don't think that you could help them. But help is there, but again, the approach may be a different approach. It doesn't say that the approach is, it lacks legitimacy. And I always tell persons this, because the results speak for themselves, especially based on what I tell you here. You can't come to someone and have a TSH at 10, and then it went from 10 to 4 in 3 months. And yeah. People don't know what they're doing. I don't guess what's going on there. Now, different results for different individuals. But if the fact that that particular individual listened, as I was saying with the woman, we touched on fibroids already, as well, polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's the next epidemic. A lot of young ladies now, 14 problems with their menstrual cycle. A lot of young ladies now having more cysts. There was a client we had some time back had a cyst. And it was a pretty large cyst, could have been the size of maybe a golf ball. Or even a tennis ball. It was pretty large. And this was actually on the uterus. Not on the uterus, it was on one of the ovaries. So it was like a strange, but it was not, it's like type of ovarian cyst. Now you have Lebotian cysts, you have different types of cysts that women would get. Some women, you would get cysts depending on when your cycle starts or during the cycle. And that's not just part of it, and those cysts, usually go after a period of time, but there are cysts that are usually more problematic. So this one was a problematic cyst because of its size. It was causing problems with frequent urinating. It was even causing problems with constipation as well. Keep in mind, this individual is just about maybe, what's the age, boy? Could be like about 17, 18. Wasn't older than 18 years. And the recommendation, because of where it was to do a hysterectomy, because they also had fibroids in addition to that very large cyst. So imagine giving a hysterectomy to, you know, an 18-year-old. So they seeked out, or they seeked us out rather. And in fact, it was a recommendation, and we dealt with the individual, and the cyst went down significantly. The fibroids went completely. And then subsequent to that now, because the cyst went down, but it didn't go completely. And when they continued the treatment protocol, it went completely. So they do have a problem again, no longer painful menstrual cycle, that type of thing. But I'm saying that to help you to understand that again, look at what that problem was causing. That cyst issue, which is an indication or caused by hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalance is caused by endocrine imbalance because the endocrine glands are the ones that control the hormones. So that's why they usually send you to an endocrinologist if you're having problems with your thyroid, parathyroid, you have thyroid nodules. By the way, we deal with those two as well if you have problems. Ladies, you'll realize the same menopause situation. A lot of women under where your thyroid is located, you find that you may do ultrasound and they tell you that you have thyroid nodules, you may have thyroid cysts. Those can be dealt with as well, especially when they're smaller, of course. When they get larger, they can become troublesome, problematic. You're going to have to do surgery in some instances. I've seen cases like that, but I've also seen cases where they did treatment protocols and the cyst went completely. And, you know, there was no consideration subsequent to the treatment protocol when they would have met with the consultant, because the consultant agreed that they were no longer there, they no longer posed a danger. In some instances, when you have growths and nodules on the thyroid, it can actually cause elevated TSH, T3, T4, hypo or hyperthyroidism. Hashimoto's thyroid is an example of that. So if you have a thyroid problem, then you know, you can definitely check us out. Keep in mind, work with those blood tests, your reports, that type of thing. Even though you may be doing the holistic consultation, that's very important as regards to information. So whether you're dealing with diabetes, hypertension, men, prostate, let me just touch on that quickly. You know, I do a lot of work in Tobago, and Tobago is plagued with prostate problems. And that's not to say I try to shine up Tobago in any way. We have our problems here in Trinidad as well. We have a very high prostate cancer situation and rate in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not getting better, seeing more and more persons with that. And the good thing about it, getting persons to actually bring down those PSAs, had some really good results there. Also the pre-void, post-void, that's exciting in the sense that when they usually they're looking at your prostate, what urologists usually recommend, they would do a pre-void where they do the ultrasound and they do a post-void. So give you water to drink, and then before you urinate, they would measure, and then subsequent to urinating, they would measure. So pre-void, void. And the improvement was significant. It actually went down by more than half. This person had a seriously enlarged prostate. And with that treatment protocol, it went down more than half within the 6-month period, right? So no surgery, right? The catheter situation wasn't as bad. That improved, but we're actually still doing some work as regards to that, because a lot of persons, when you have catheters for extended periods of time, they can actually cause a lot of problems because of frequent infections. When you're wearing catheters, you tend to get a lot of frequent infections. And frequent infections in any body is not a good thing. It does interfere with the body from, again, a physiological perspective, biochemical perspective, rather, as regards to pathogens. Check out that Santulan, that 7-channel detox that we carry at Batson Associates. We do have back in stock. That Santulan, again, cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. You can always come for a consultation first, so that, you know, depending on your situation, because I always tell persons, you know, one of the things that you learn as regards to health, you know, you may have different diseases, but the causes or the root issues, the rudimentary problems are usually the same, right? So it's not a necessary one size fits all, but it's basically an assessment of what is causing your problems in the first place. You notice that at the genesis of the conversation, I said something. I said, if you have 10 persons that have hypertension, sorry. But all of them there are 10 different reasons why each of them are hypertensive. Now, it might sound weird, it might sound strange, but that's a fact. And that has been medically proven on numerous occasions. There are people, since because of constipation, they end up hypertensive. Women going through menopause, one of the symptoms of menopause is hypertension. If you have an issue with a lot of pain, so you may have rheumatoid arthritis, you may be someone having problems with your knee, you have a lot of joint pain, you could check out that inflammation formula available at Batson Associates. You may have a lot of problems, your back always hurting you, your waist always hurting you. So you have pain. If you are consistently in pain, you're going to be hypertensive. You know me go on? If you're not sleeping, so if you have insomnia and you don't sleep properly and you have not been sleeping properly for an extended period of time, would you not be hypertensive? Right? 4 reasons. And I could go on, but you get the point. What is causing your diabetes? What is causing your asthma? What is causing your polycystic ovaries? What is causing your fibroid? What is causing your migraine headaches? What's causing bad breath? Perspiration. I was talking about that recently. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not good for somebody to tell you that you're not smelling good. And then the thing is, people nowadays, so anyhow, they might see you smelling. Well, you're smelling bad and not tell you anything. Yeah, that's a serious thing. So to ensure that you're not smelling bad and nobody not telling you that you're not smelling bad, check out Santulan, the Alkagen water. Those telephone numbers below there. Number 98 Main Road, Londonville, Chagonas. Those open clinic days, usually Wednesday and Thursday. They base the corner of Ramsamooch Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Bailey. Those clinic days are usually Monday as well as Saturday. You can also check out Tobago. Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. You can WhatsApp again, 314, that is 314-9975, or any of the numbers below there. And they have open clinic day next week. Well, not open clinic day, but for the week. So that's next week, please go. And you could also check out St. James. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. Now, so we discussed a number of things. We talked about prostate health. So men, get your PSA, your prostate ultrasound. Come do your holistic health consultation, and let's help you to get that PSA down. Let's help you to get, because there are different imbalances of the prostate, and a lot of people might be surprised. You have something known as prostatitis. Prostatitis is infection of the prostate. So when doctors diagnose you with prostatitis, prostatitis is an indication of what? Some sort of infection in the prostate. So usually you'll be recommended things. Now that may not necessarily be the only reason. Understand what I'm saying? But it is usually a causative factor for issues associated, with prostate problems. You also have something known as BPH. That's an acronym for benign prostatic hypoplasia, which again is swelling of the prostate. So when they do the measurements and they look at it, the volumes are going to be larger than it's supposed to, which is a clear indication of some sort of inflammation or inflammatory response, in the prostate. Easy fix. You might have to stop certain things, alcohol definitely, at least for a period of time. But that in itself gives you room to correct it. And because you see, the thing is, if you leave it, so if benign prostatic hypoplasia gets worse, the only other place you're going is prostate cancer. Because if you leave those things, they're going to become exacerbated, or they're going to progress, and they're just going to get worse. A diabetic who doesn't take care of the diabetes is not going to get better. You need to test your numbers. I always tell persons, you are diabetic. Yes, sticking yourself is uncomfortable, taking your fed up, stick yourself, but it is within your best interest to take your blood pressure and your blood sugar daily. And the reason for that is because of what not checking it could cause, because you could leave it and it could just go out of whack and out of sync. And then the only time you realize the blood sugar high is when you end up in the hospital, because you're taking medication, but I guess you're not testing the way you're supposed to. I always advise clients, test your blood sugar daily. When you reach a point where you're managing it properly and that type of thing, you can maybe every other day, that type of thing. But again, different individuals, different circumstance. But you need to have some form or some point of reference in order to get help. It's the same thing with your blood pressure. You can't be not testing your blood pressure. And then when you go to the clinic, you're telling the doctor, listen to me, it's only when I come in the office, my pressure just go high, but home, my blood pressure just be good. The doctor wouldn't know that. He's not living home with you. He or she rather. But if you have a notebook with your numbers in there, then the doctor can say, well, okay, it's reading 140. Because it doesn't make any sense. You're testing the pressure home, which you're supposed to do, so that in the event the dietitian give you or what you get from Batson & Associates, you realize the numbers starting to go down. So you're going to have to make some adjustments. But the doctor could only make those adjustments based on what? Based on the information that you provide. A lot of people just want the doctor to manage their health for you. We can't do that. We could only help. We could give advice. But it's vitally important that you check those. So that was a community announcement as regards to persons who are diabetics, persons who are hypertensive. You're hypertensive, test your pressure in the morning, test your pressure in the evening around the same time. Yes, it's mundane, yes, it's boring, whatever the case may be, but it's within your best interest to test it so that you know and you're not working blindly. A lot of people like to say, well, I know when my pressure high. No, a lot of the times if your blood pressure high and your blood pressure low, your body might feel the same way. You might experience the same symptoms. The same thing with elevated sugar and low sugar. Hypoglycemia, and you may have some different, but generally, in some instances, they're almost the same. So the point is, you can only know if it is high or low or good if you check it. Very, very important. One of the questions, quickly, let me just answer as regards to eye problems. So someone asked if we do deal with eye issues, primarily glaucoma, and the answer is yes. When you're looking at glaucoma, glaucoma is high ocular pressure in the eyes. Now, the thing is, if you have elevated glaucoma, elevated ocular pressure, you could have two types of glaucoma. You could have open-angled and you could have close-angled glaucoma. Now, I've treated a lot of persons, or we have treated a lot of persons rather, with glaucoma. A lot of persons thought that I was actually an ophthalmologist because of treatment protocols, diets that we would have done for persons with problems with their eyes. Now, the consistency is very important, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand. You can't go into the gym, or you're trying to lose weight and you go walking around the savannah and you just do 2 days, and then you rest for a month and then say it's not effective. That doesn't make any sense. You were not consistent in what you're doing. So the consistency is what brings you the results, and that applies to anything, right? So with that, the consistency is where you're going to now see that change in the pressure. So you need to check it. That's the next thing I advise persons. Check the pressure in your eyes, because sometimes the clinics recommend 6 months. And professionally, I find 6 months is a little too long, but at the end of the day, remember, it's a clinic. They have so much clients and clients, patients to deal with and that type of thing. There's the hospital clinics. So it is within your best interest to have your pressure in your eye tested so that you could now know, okay, if it's high, if it's low, whatever the case may be. Because again, those things are volatile, and depending on what you're going on, or what's going on, and what you may be going through, elevation of pressure in your eyes. You could go to sleep, the pressure could go very high, and you could end up temporarily blind. Yes, that does happen. You could actually get a stroke in your eyes. A lot of people do not know that you could get a stroke rather, in your eyes, outside of ischemic strokes, hemorrhagic strokes, even TIAs, which are transient ischemic attacks. And you realize that those ischemic attacks we're seeing more and more. You realize it's in a lot of people with central nervous system dysfunction, and we have a lot of persons now, and it's worldwide. A lot of people with dementia, Alzheimer's, vascular dementia is a big thing now. A lot of persons getting dementia very, very early. I tell persons, dementia patients are patients who do not have proper blood circulation and blood oxygenation to their brain. And there are a number of diseases that could cause that problem. But the end result is low oxygen, low blood circulation. But remember, blood transports what? Oxygen, nutrients, hormones, different substances where? To the brain. And the brain also is not as easy to be penetrated. You have the blood-brain barrier, which protects the brain from a number of things. And there's a reason why that is like that, right? So persons who may have specific issues associated with central nervous system issues, persons who may have issues associated with pulmonary hypertension, persons who may have issues associated with glaucoma, issues associated with migraine headaches. And do you know that there are a lot of persons who get strokes, and the stroke that they get, that they actually found out and medically realized it was a stroke, was not the first stroke? They would have gotten strokes before. That happens significantly to a lot of individuals. That's why they call them TIAs. They are transient ischemic attacks, or what is medically known as mini strokes. It's only when they do MRIs, brain CTs, are they able to see those things and then make necessary recommendations as regards to that. So again, those telephone numbers, please feel free to give us a call or visit. You can WhatsApp us. Again, that telephone number you can WhatsApp us on is 314, that is 314-9975. That's WhatsApp only. And of course, those locations, we are located at number 98 Main Road, Londonville, Shogunas. That's number 98 Main Road, Londonville, Shogunas. Keep in mind, those health fairs, those upcoming health fairs are at Dede and Londonville Community Health Fair. That's going to be free to the public. So, a lot of good information, a lot of examples, that type of thing as regards to what we discussed here and more. And that is something you can actually avail yourself of as regards to, what to do, how to do it, and most importantly, how to get better. Right? The people with the pain, the people with the joint pain, the knee pain, watch your water intake, try and do a little deep breathing. I always tell persons, those are things that you need to pay attention to. So, as usual, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. As we always say, so I see our time is up there, as we always say at Batson & Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Always a pleasure to be in your company, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Stay blessed. Do something to make a healthier you. Start a walk, watch the water you drink, do some deep breathing. And of course, check Batson & Associates. Take care, guys. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Do you suffer from diabetes or high blood pressure, or just in need of a general checkup? Look no further. Visit Batson & Associates Limited, your holistic health experts, for your personalized program of solutions with a range of premium products and services tailored to suit your needs. Come and experience transformative healing with our team of specialists in natural and integrative medicine. Visit us or give us a call today at 222-8261 or 314-9975 and begin your journey to optimal health. And remember, if you think health is expensive, try sickness.